Should Elon Musk be worried? Long has Tesla been at the center of the EV industry, boasting market dominance with a 19% share as recently as 2021. However, there's a new player in town, and to say the industry is being shaken up is definitely an understatement. BYD Group has emerged in the last 2 years from a 9% market share in 2021 to sharing the top spot with Tesla at the end of 2023 at 17%. BYD's recent success isn't just about the company. It's a representation of an entire country. The country is reshaping the electric vehicle industry piece by piece. The country we're talking about is, of course, China. Chinese car makers are positioned to lead the global EV market, supported by substantial domestic expansion, governmental backing, and cost-effective manufacturing. China's thriving EV industry has witnessed notable sales growth, particularly in electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles. Internationally, Chinese brands currently capture half of the EV market shares, and forecasts suggest that China's global dominance will double by 2030. This trend presents a significant challenge for traditional Western automakers who anticipate a decline in market share due to the influx of more affordable Chinese EV options. So, to answer our initial question, Elon Musk should be worried. Very worried. This is how China is revolutionizing the EV market. To understand where we're now, we first need to understand this is not an overnight shift. It's a fruition of a well-laid heads-up plan over almost 15 years. China's ascent to dominance in the electric car market can be traced back to its early efforts and policies aimed at promoting electric vehicles. These initiatives, which began in 2009, included various strategies. Firstly, the government provided substantial financial support to companies producing electric vehicles, particularly focusing on buses, taxis, and individual consumer cars. This support, amounting to over $29 billion between 2009 and 2022, significantly improved the quality of EV models and made them more affordable to everyday consumers. Secondly, before electric vehicles gained widespread acceptance among consumers, China integrated them into its extensive public transportation system. Millions of public transit vehicles, including buses and taxis, were utilized as reliable contracts for EV companies. This integration not only provided revenue, but also generated valuable road test data, which contributed to the growth of the industry. In addition to financial subsidies, China implemented policies to incentivize individuals to purchase electric vehicles. For example, in cities like Beijing, obtaining a license plate for a gasoline car was a cumbersome and expensive process, while it was much simpler for electric vehicle buyers. This encouraged consumers to opt for electric vehicle over traditional gasoline-powered cars. Furthermore, the Chinese government consistently prioritized electric vehicle development in its national economic planning. Initiatives such as the 863 EV project, launched in 2001, and the Auto Industry Development Policy of 2004 highlighted the nation's commitment to promoting electric vehicles. Furthermore, Chinese firms have heavily invested in battery technology, gaining a strong foothold over the battery supply chain. This strategic focus on core technology, combined with operational efficiency, has been crucial in China's rise to dominance in the EV sector. All EVs need batteries, and China's endeavor to perfect not only the vehicles themselves, but the technology and components produced by their EV manufacturers means that they own the supply chain. The Chinese EV industry stands to gain from the success of their own manufacturers,
and also those based overseas, as they will still be supplying the parts further up the chain. This total monopoly on the supply chain, spanning from raw materials to battery technology and manufacturing, stems from extensive investments, policies, and strategic positioning. Holding a dominant position globally, China boasts over 3/4 of the world's battery production capacity and more than half of the processing and refining capacity for key materials like lithium, cobalt, and graphite. This including running cobalt mining operations in Africa to feed the production line back on Chinese soil. The country's control is evidenced by its ownership of refining projects and significant reinvestment in battery minerals such as lithium, alongside production of cells and packs. This control has afforded China a substantial lead of 10 to 15 years over the rest of the world in the EV battery supply chain. So we now know how China has been reshaping the EV industry, and that the rise of BYD to equal Tesla's market share by Q3 2023 is no accident and the result of a plan over a decade in the works.
But why are China so invested in the industry? Is it purely economic greed, or environmental factor also play a part?
China's drive towards EVs is actually underpinned by a blend of the two. Domestically, the leadership identifies 3 key advantages stemming from EV proliferation: economic prospects, bolstered energy security, and a cleaner atmosphere. While China's rapid expansion in the EV market primarily serves internal needs, its steadfast commitment to electric transportation is poised to catalyze global EV adoptions. The government's backing for EVs aims at curbing China's reliance on imported oil, fortifying energy autonomy, and tackling environmental challenges, notably air pollution triggered by vehicle emissions. By embracing electric transportation, China positions itself to spearhead a burgeoning technology expected to command the global transportation arena, fostering economic growth and curbing environmental harm. Furthermore, the successful integration of EVs in China holds the promise of significant health, environmental, and security benefits, including diminished air pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and reliance on foreign oil. Thus, China's population towards EVs is steered by strategic fusion of economic, environmental, and security imperatives, with the overarching objective of attaining sustainable and competitive advantage in the global automotive sector. When you dig a little deeper, the idea that China is doing this through a desire to stop climate change starts to sound like a lip service. The Climate Action Tracker has evaluated China's climate policy as highly insufficient and advocate for urgent emission reductions. While in advance of 2030, alongside accelerated reductions in coal and other fossil fuel usage beyond current plans, and the establishment of clear timelines for phasing out such sources. In 2019, China's per capita emissions stood at 9 tons of CO2 equivalent, surpassing levels observed in the EU and significantly exceeding the global average. Accounting for over a quarter of global greenhouse gas emission in 2019, China's consumption-based emissions, adjusted for international trade, are approximately 10% lower. Moreover, China's domestic climate response has prioritized adaptation measures over emission reduction efforts. Despite setting targets to peak carbon emission before 2030 and attain carbon neutrality by 2060, China's greenhouse gas objectives are deemed insufficiently ambitious, with a notable emphasis on adaptation over mitigation in its climate policies. Consequently, while China has pledged substantial commitments to combat climate change, criticism has been directed toward the inadequacy of its climate policy and the preference for adaptation over mitigation strategy. The push to increase the production and sales of EVs is part of the puzzle, but it doesn't match up to China's overall climate policies. That said, China's leadership in the EV market is poised to exert a significant global influence on climate change. As the foremost EV market, China's dedication to electric transportation is predicted to expedite worldwide EV adoptions. By embracing electric transportation, China is anticipated to spearhead to leading transformative technology, fostering economic opportunities, and curbing environmental degradation. The country's advancing manufacturing capabilities are expected to drive down technology costs, hastening the availability of affordable EVs for consumers.
China really is trying to reshape the entire industry for both selfish and selfless reasons. But is it working?
China's ascendancy in the global automotive industry, notably within the EV sector, has significantly altered the competitive paradigm and spurred reactions from traditional automakers. Chinese car manufacturers like Chery, Geely, and Great Wall Motors have swiftly expanded their international footprint, particularly in markets such as Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, and Iran. Propelled by competitive pricing, enhanced quality, and a diverse array of models tailored to regional consumer preference. Moreover, China's focus on EV has cemented its status as a global leader in this domain, with Chinese brands commanding approximately half of all international EV sales, propelled by strategic governmental backing for the auto sector as a key of the nation's industrial strategy. Traditional automakers have adopted multifaceted responses to China's dominance. Western counterparts confront a formidable challenge from Chinese rivals in the EV arena, challenged by China's robust domestic growth, governmental support, advantageous production costs, positioning Chinese brands for substantial global EV market share by 2030. Consequently, traditional Western automakers are under pressure to adapt to the shifting landscape, with some acknowledging the technological powers of Chinese EV firms and pursuing investments or partnerships. For instance, Volkswagen has ventured into investment with Chinese EV company like Xiaopeng Motors. Furthermore, the entry of tech giants such as Xiaomi and Huawei into the EV sectors heralds potential disruptions, intensify competitions, and reshaping industry dynamics. The global ramifications of China's automotive dominance reverberate in its influence on the future of road transport. China's control over critical links in raw material supply chains and battery productions empowers it to shape the trajectory of road transport. Its position in EV production and battery cell manufacturing endorse Chinese automakers with a pivotal advantage, enables substantial cost reductions. However, China's dominance encounters obstacles such as tariffs imposed by the US and the EU on Chinese vehicles, along with concerns regarding dependency on China in high-tech green sectors. In summary, China's ascendancy in the global automotive landscape, particularly within the EV domain, has reshaped the competition dynamics and spurred reactions from traditional automakers. Anchored by Chinese EV emphasis and governmental support, Chinese car manufacturers have emerged as influential players. This dynamic has engendered heightened competition and collaboration between Chinese and foreign automakers, profoundly influencing the trajectory of road transport. Indeed, China's dominance in the EV market has triggered various challenges and criticism, including concerns about substantial state support distorting the global market and creating an uneven playing field for international competitors. Additionally, China's control over key supply chain links raise fears of dependency in high-tech green sectors. Controversies also surround market access, intellectual property rights, and the impact on traditional automakers. Despite driving innovations and the intensified global competition, Chinese export of EVs has sparked worries among established auto exporters, particularly in Europe and North America. The situation prompts concern over fair competition, market access, and dependency on China. The future of EV production around the globe looks set to be dominated by this rising Chinese plan to revolutionize the industry. The most recent export figure backed this up. In 2023, China experienced a notable increase in auto exports, rising by 63.7%, while domestic sales saw a more modest growth of 4.2%. Largely attributed to year-end incentives. According to the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, exports reached 4.1 million units, potentially positioning China to surpass Japan as the world's leading car exporter, with Japan exporting 3.6 million cars in the first 11 months of the year. It's hard to say a word, particularly one where China is happy to export into Russia, where European and Japanese manufacturers have dialed back following the invasion of Ukraine, where the growth doesn't continue into 2024 and beyond, with the market share expected to grow to unseen levels over the next decade. Whether you like it or not, you're going to see a lot more Chinese-made electric vehicles on the road near you soon enough.